Good evening, everyone. Sorry, just setting up my microphone. Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're a bit late starting. How's everyone doing? Okay, so... Good evening, everyone. Sorry, just setting up my microphone. Hi, everyone. Okay. Sorry, we're a bit late. We can go. Okay, so Bitcoin. The big question of Bitcoin. Since we last spoke, a week ago, we had a kind of hope, didn't we, that at the start of August that we would see a new rally, see the rally resume in Bitcoin after maybe an ABC correction, and up we would go again. Let's go to the daily. But what we've seen since then has been, to be honest, a little bit toppy and a little bit scary in harmonic patterns. It's just testing us. It's making us think that, yeah, maybe it's going to collapse again and roll over. When I put my Heikin-Ashi on, it's like, yeah, we're trending lower again. However, let's look at... I haven't turned the screen on. Thank you, Jonathan Coleman, for noticing and not staring at Airsoft. Here we go. Okay, sorry, thanks, guys. Here's my chart now. Okay, here's my chart now. Thank you. Okay. So from the high to the low in Bitcoin, from the start of the correction that we started in June in Bitcoin after our beautiful rally off the lows, here we are. We've reversed our 618 fib and we're just kind of consolidating sideways. I could make an argument that we go higher from here for a lot of reasons in Bitcoin, but I also have a feeling that we might need to spend some time and allow these daily moving averages to catch up. Sometimes if you don't come all the way back to them, you need to just go sideways and allow the moving averages to catch up again before you turn higher again. And that's what I was thinking. When I've looked back at previous months, July is very often seasonally a bearish month, but so often is August. And the way we're going, we're almost halfway through August now. It could be that we see continued correction into September. And I'm going to talk about timing wise. I use a CCI for timing in terms of that. But if we were, it doesn't really matter what oscillator you use. For example, if you like an RSI or a slow stochastic or a MACD on a daily chart, they're a really good indicator of when a market's ready to turn higher again. And if we pull that up and we see where we are on our RSI, we've kind of pulled up to the middle and we're not ready, if you know what I mean, to go higher again. We are, though, at a kind of a midpoint, a support pain. On the RSI, very often the 50, the midline, the 50 line, is a bit of a pivot. I'm going to try and mark it. And you'll see how often we come back to the 50 midline and then turn from there. So that's 50 there or thereabouts. And so by that, when you zoom out on this RSI, you'll see what I mean. We'll rally up to the 50 and it'll be resistance, and then we'll carry on. Or we'll pull back to the 50 and then carry on and rally in an uptrend. So we're kind of almost, it's possible that we don't go all the way down into this bottom half and do a really big correction. But what I would like to do is I would like to see this RSI at least come back to the 50 and make a bit of a base and turn around again. So in terms of momentum and are we going to be ready to soon to go higher again, I have to say I really don't think we are. And so what's the deal with this level here? Well, when I drew this last week, this was a Gartley pattern. When your first swing only rallies 50% or less, you're always looking for 1.618 extension of the pullback. And so that's where we stopped. That made it a Gartley pattern up here. That's where we've reversed. So it's not necessarily a reversal. It is, if it doesn't come back too much further, then we could still go higher from here. Elliott wavers will be looking at this as for a fifth wave. They'll say this is wave 1, wave 2, we've done wave 3, and this choppy overlapping price action looks like a wave 4. So if it's a wave 4 cannot close into wave 1 territory. Some will say it can't go into it. I would say it can't close into it. So although I'm looking at, I don't know why I've got a Poloniex chart up here. I'll change it. At the moment, as long as we don't have as long as we don't have a daily close below 11,000, I think that we could find some support around here and rally from here. If it is one of those kind of declining wedges though, or triangles, we're going to need 5 waves. So far to me, this looks a bit like 1, 2, 3. So we're going to need a 4 and then a 5, and then we can go up again. So a bit further in correction, I think, for Bitcoin. And that's how I'm looking at it. Let's change my chart first. Don't know how I ended up on this one. Here's my Binance chart. So I've been writing all over this. So this is the same deal here. This high, if this is a wave 1, we shouldn't go beneath it. It's 11,064 at Binance. If we're in a declining wedge like this, then that's going to be our waves. And we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4. It needs to be 5. So we'll need one more up and then one more down before we can get ready to go again. Now, if this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, very often wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 4 are equal in time. So let's see how long this one took and see when that might mean we bottom on this other one. So if that took to here, that puts us bottoming around the 14th of August. So nothing to do until we get to the 14th of August. Set a bit of this. 14th of August, then we'll be looking for a bottom, hopefully a tradable bottom, and then we'll see one more leg higher. Very often wave 1 and wave 5 are equal or have a fib relationship, or wave 5 is 1.618 if wave 1. Well, if we do the equal thing, then up we go up here, and that's going to put us up around, let's see, for a nice bat pattern. Hard to say, isn't it? I think probably at least up here, 12,915, and then we can say, if we're above there, then if we take out this high, then we can say that perhaps we're in a new uptrend. Now, the other thing about waves 5 is they can really extend. They can extend long ways, many multiples of wave 1. The rule about when they retrace is though they come all the way back to the bottom of wave 4. So that's where we are. We're still in this big correction that we started at the end of June. We're looking at potentially one more leg up, and then we'll see where we go from there. If this is a new one, then we'll get a wave 5, and then we'll look for 3 waves back, and then we'll have a proper low that we can, look at buying for a long-term swing. At the moment, this isn't a great place to be looking at buying Bitcoin for a long-term swing. What would be cool about this is, this would kind of confirm our bias. And anyway, we might not do this. I might be wrong. We might roll over here. We might see a bigger, this may be a bigger channel. We may be looking for a third drive. Okay, this is what I had thought before. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and another one, but this is taking too long for me. We should have rolled over and got on with it by now. So it doesn't look balanced. So that's what I'm thinking. So if you didn't want to miss it, if you wanted to have an alert, sometimes news can trigger Bitcoin. And I'm wondering, last week we talked about how the moves in China in the dollar yuan had been driving Bitcoin up, and the dollar is still being bought and the yuan is still being weakened. And so that pressure on people, holding yuan who don't want to lose money is still there. We could still, that's what's driving the euro dollar or propping the euro dollar up. And so it could be that that's still what's driving up Bitcoin as well. So whereas normally we would have expected a bigger we're not getting it because of buyers there. So, otherwise, you know, I've really said far too much about some pretty boring sideways consolidation already. But I would say it's the 12th today, 2 more days, and potentially, if we're going to see another leg higher in Bitcoin to 12 or 13,000, that's where it's going to come from. It could go further than that. Let's see. We could retest the highs. You know, let's tidy up our chart a little bit. Take these away. And go back to the daily or the weekly for Bitcoin. Because when we look at the highs to the lows, from the high we made in 2017 to the low that we made down here in December, we're in that 618382 golden ratio zone. Okay, at the moment, this 50% level has been pretty good resistance. This is what it acts like a pivot in the middle. Okay, but if we go back above it again, then 13,420 is where we're looking. 13,420, if I draw that, is that 886 fib retrace level. So that adds validity to that bat pattern, and that's where we go if we break higher here. So if we can break above 11,456, our target is 13,470. Does that mean we're in a new upswing? Unfortunately, it doesn't. But it does mean short term. We could still see another correction here. If this is a big 5 waves complete, remember from the December low to the high that we made at the end of June, then we could still see another leg of correction like this. We could go from this high up to here and then another one like this before we carry on again. Or even lower, you know, we could do this. So it could take some time. Remember, normally it's not a hard and fast rule, but very often corrections take 1/3 of the time that the rally took. So we can use a trend-based fib time tool for this. Measure from this low to this high and project it from here. Project it from this high. And, you know, that gives us around the 9th of September. So there we go. So 14th of, so we could see a rally from the 14th of September up to 13,378, and then another sharp drop down, and then we can start a 9th of September low, and off we go again. At the moment, 11,456, really strong resistance, and 11,000, really strong support. That's our narrow range, kind of really. We have to wait and see. Okay, I'm going to move on because boring. Okay, I could talk about Bitcoin endlessly, but we're seeing very much a similar thing in, I've still got Bitcoin here. Let's look at some Ethereum. I've got Ethereum at Coinbase. Here on the daily chart, this chart is even more, you know, sideways. For me, this is one of those ones where I think we're waiting for this 200 moving average to catch up. And a lot of people say to me, you know, is this a wave 4 and are we going to see another leg lower in Ethereum? I don't think we are. Let me put regular candles on. If you look at this as a wave 2 and how long it took, and this is a wave 4, this is kind of, it's getting a little bit stretched out, isn't it? It's looking much more like we're making a base rather than a drop. Now, I might be wrong, and if we drop pretty quickly from here, then I am. But at the moment, even if that's irregular, we've taken far too long here. So I still think we could see one more trip to the bottom of the range, tag the 200-day moving average in Ethereum. We're just doing some summer sideways trading, but there's no signal here to buy this at all at the moment. If I really was going to get excited, it would be a break above these highs. But I think more likely we're going to see a retest of this 618 level at 189. And then hopefully a double bottom, some kind of signal like that would be a much better buying signal for ETH. There's no reason to buy it at the moment, unfortunately. So breakdown of these lows. Look for a false break, retest the lows and a double bottom. Okay, that's ETH. Some of these other charts, though, in good news, some of these other charts are looking much, much more interesting. Now here's Litecoin, unfortunately, isn't one of them. Litecoin is one of those ones that I kept trying to buy. You know, I bought into the halving. It's going to be all, you know, up we go. And, you know, this Litecoin chart looks just like Ethereum, doesn't it? Except it hasn't fallen as far as Ethereum. It's just consolidating sideways. This 50% is pretty good news. When you can hold a 50% level like this, and in fact, when a market that does kind of 50% keeps doing 50%, so we've done a 50% this way, we've done a 50% pullback in Litecoin. This is Litecoin US dollar. And now on this rally, we would expect us to rally 50% and then see what happens there. And in terms of that, we haven't quite done it yet. I still see this as one, and we still maybe have another leg higher to go. We've bounced pretty nicely off this 200 moving average. If we can hold it, I'm a little bit optimistic that we might actually start to see a turn, you know, in Litecoin. Start to see a turn. However, lower, you know, there's just no, whenever all your moving averages are flat, this is an hourly chart, and this is an hourly 200 moving average. Whenever your moving averages are flat, you haven't got a trend. It really is a range trade. And honestly, the only thing you can do is mark the top of your range, which is these highs, mark the bottom of your range, which is these lows, and you buy the top and you sell you know, you buy the bottom and sell the top, and you wait for it to break out. So, you know, with that in mind, I think the most likely thing is that we retest the lows and that 50% level, but, you know, hourly Litecoin looks like a Head and Shoulders. Oh, just here, you mean this here? Yeah, a continuation Head and Shoulders. Normally, you like to see a Head and Shoulders at a big high, or a big or an inverted one at a low. You can get them as continuation patterns, pullback patterns. They don't always, I don't think, work quite as well, but I just see a big fat nothing in Litecoin. And here's the thing, you know, because corrections are very often three waves, what we could see here, we've done this drop, is we could go from here. If Bitcoin's got another leg, we could do another leg like this, and then we do another leg back to the lows, and then, you know, there's no trend change for me unless we start getting above some bigger moving averages and holding above them. See this 4-hour 200 moving average, that was where we got rejected. If we rallied and held above it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe we've got something to buy against now, and that would be a reversal. But for now, there's just nothing to, everything's tightening up in a tight range, and we need to wait for the breakout. So I'm gonna say thanks but no thanks and pass on this one. Litecoin Bitcoin had a really good bullish pattern, and the absolutely massive rally, of course, in Bitcoin smashed it, so that was no longer valid. Now we're coming into some, you know, maybe support of these previous lows. I'm not really a big fan of that as support. I think it's, you know, potentially this is a time where we should be more focused on, until this starts to turn, I think we really should be more focused on Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's doing, and wait for this one to bottom. And so, you know, if I measure from this high to low here like this, this is the level where this swing is 61.8 of the first swing. So it is a good potential place for Litecoin to make a stand and make a turn. But it just needs to do a bit more to convince us that it's done it, doesn't it? So far, it's just one bounce and a downtrend. Now, if we retested the low, made a swing failure pattern and bounced sharply, something like that, that would be a good sign that we are starting to build a base here, but just not enough evidence yet. So I'm going to leave Litecoin aside for a bit until it starts outperforming Bitcoin, and then I would take a look at buying Litecoin US dollar. I just don't think it's setting up right at the moment. So Bitcoin Cash, however, This chart's much more interesting and better looking. Let's see where we are with this one. Okay, so here's our daily chart. I've got to take off these Heiken-Ashi and my scribblings from this morning. We've got the momentum turning higher in this one. We've got our Heiken-Ashi, which is really a moving average, turning green. We're turning up again. We've made a higher low. In fact, we're doing pretty well with this one. We've paused at this 20 moving average. But I think if we can get above it, which is at the moment around 3,000 in Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin, then we're on our way, and a second leg higher and potentially a new upswing. So yeah, let's see now what this consolidation looks like. Because when you see that and you've got that little inside day, you're looking for your little inside day to break higher. And here it looks like a really nice little bull flag, doesn't it? Holding above the hourly 200 moving average, holding above the 20 moving average. And here's our little bull flag. We're just waiting for this one to break higher. So I think Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin looks brilliant, ready to go and ready to outperform Bitcoin. And first target for me would be up here at 3.03281, which is that 236 fib level. But then I think we carry on higher, and then 0.3724. So Bitcoin Cash, I think, has a lot of potential. Let's take a look and make sure whenever you've got to make sure in this market that it's going to go up against the US dollar as well. And here we've got a really nice pullback, after zipping above our 200 moving average on the hourly again. We've got the same thing, nice pullback, and we're just waiting for this to turn and cross higher again. For me, it's all set up to go higher in Bitcoin Cash. So if I was going to put my money in anything that's outperforming Bitcoin Cash is looking quite good. So I'm not going to make any judgment on what you think about the coin or anything else. I think it looks quite good. I have to say, how long have we been waiting for Bitcoin Cash SV to do the same thing? Quite a long time in this long decline. Here we are in this one, testing this 200 moving average as well. It's come a little bit further than I want, but if we zoom in, this might be a little ABC correction, and this is one of those ones that everyone hates so much. It is a little ABC. It's sure to pop if we can break higher. So I'm watching that, and it really does need to be above the hourly 200 for moving average for me in Bitcoin Cash SV. Now, if we do move higher, we're wrong, obviously, if we make a new low, and you need to stop it out if that happens. But a second leg higher in this one take us up here to this 200-day moving average, which is at 0.01609 in Bitcoin Cash SV Bitcoin, 0.01609. So all the way up here. So that's a pretty nice target for a first target. Second target would be this 38.2 fib up here at 0.01817. So it's just a matter of if we can see it. If we don't break out, it hasn't broken the trend, and it's not breaking higher. Okay. Got a little bit off topic. Let's talk about ADA. This is another one. Today, look at this. So if you consider, say this is, I've just got my hourly chart at the moment. We'll start with the daily. This one has got so far that it needs to go to get back to the daily 20 moving average. And this is where our target is in ADA. And it's 50% of this high to low. If we just rally 50% and then roll over again, I think we're still in a downtrend in ADA. And again, this is another one that's made a little inside pause day today. So we need to look under the hood and see, are we likely to hold support, or are we likely to turn higher again? And so this is how I'm looking at ADA. So this is our first resistance, right? 523. Now, there's 5 waves up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you have 5 waves up, you usually need 3 waves of correction. So we've got 1, 2, and we need another one. So it might be that this next leg is a bit deeper than we want. So first place I'm going to look is here at 460, which is where the second swing lower would be 61.8 of the first one, and otherwise a little bit lower to 448. One of these two levels is going to be our support, 448 or 460. And then I'd be looking for ADA to find support and turn higher and start again. So one of these two levels. I think it's got a good look. Let's see if she can do it. So not quite tempted to buy until that's played out. So that's ADA Bitcoin. Looking like it's setting up to outperform Bitcoin. So let's see if ADA Tether looks all right. Yeah, it does too, holding above this hourly. I marked where the 20 moving average is on this one. We're really close to it. I would really like to see ADA above that 20 moving average, and then we can get going. Okay. It's a bit of a funky, we would call this, let me put regular candles on. Pretty nice tweezer bottom from here. Not quite a swing folio pattern that it looks with the Heikin-Ashi candles on, and not really a fib level, so I'm watching this one quite closely. If we can't get above that 20 moving average, which at the moment is at, let me see where it is, 5633, 0.05633. If ADA can't get above it, or if it fails there, then we're still in a downtrend, I'm afraid, in ADA, and our next support is going to come in at 0.04416. So it's really quite important that we get above that daily 20 moving average, because we really haven't, we're still in a downtrend until then. And even then, you know, we're just kind of counter trend bouncing. So we need to be a bit careful. So again, 5 waves up, we need 3 waves back in ADA. Here's our first leg done. Looks like we're starting the next one, so we're going to look for 0.05252 or 0.05121. Those would be the two levels that I'd be looking at, hopefully for ADA Tether to find support at. Okay. I'll take that away. So yeah, just make sure, you know, we push beyond that daily to 20 moving average. Okay, EOS is next. We haven't looked at EOS for a while, it occurs to me. So let's see. And then we look at the chart and we find out that it's really not done very much at all in this one. I'm going to delete this because it doesn't look like it's looking at it. Now, in terms of moving average, moving averages, this chart's pretty bearish at the moment. You know, we're holding underneath the 200-day moving average. We've rallied and got rejected at it, and even since then, every time we've tried to rally, we haven't been able to get back above this daily 20 moving average. I don't know why, but now we are underneath this 61.8 fib level as well, and it looks like we're starting to get rejected from it. You know, it was a bit messy before. We got underneath, we got above it again, held on, and if we start getting rejected, we're going to head lower, and the next support then in EOS Tether is down here at this 786 fib level at 3.0695. So here we've got some tough stuff. So in EOS dollar, unless we can get and close above, a daily close above 4.2623, we are still headed lower in this one. Even though it looks like sideways, I think it looks to me like, you know, still in a downtrend, unfortunately. So that's what I'd be looking at. Now, it's not all doom and gloom because I'm often wrong, and, you know, put an alarm on this level. If it pops up overnight and we get above it, that's a great long entry. Look, you can draw a trend line. We can say this is, you know, we've been consolidating and now we're breaking out, and all the happy days, you know. I would be very happy to be wrong, but I'm going to say otherwise, path of least resistance is still lower in EOS. So, but I'd be much more interested above 4.26. The next one we're going to look at, I'm just having a quick look at EOS Bitcoin, because to be honest, it's not going to say anything much more. But let's pop our candles on, because potentially, you know, we were, I think, at a decent, you know, maybe fib level where we could have found some support. We found some support off it before, really smartly, and then we got underneath again. Well, sometimes I say, well, you know, sometimes the market retests it on a weekly. This would look like, this would just look like a swing failure pattern, and you go, oh, happy days, this is a buy. So as long as we don't close back below 35.12, then potentially that's true, but it's not clear. It's not like a screaming buy at the moment. One way that I look at it, I take the last swing and I put fibs on like this, and you know, I'll say, okay, if we can close and hold above the 236 fib, that would be quite bullish. And it looks like maybe we're doing this in EOS, so maybe that was a false breakdown. Maybe it was this weekly swing failure pattern, and maybe we are going to continue higher. And in which case, you know, if we hold here, that would be a very good sign. So I might be wrong. Let's see. Back below, I'm going to say back below 35.12, though, that would be quite bearish for EOS. That is where your support is in EOS Bitcoin, 35.12. So if you're looking at where can I buy it back, if we did this, then 35.12 sat is where. Okay. ZEC is next. Somebody said, why has this failed? Oh, so many have, to be honest. So many have. It's tough. It's been such a tough month. Such a tough month for so many altcoins. Okay, no, wrong one. Hold on. Can't find it. 1 second. It's because I am on the wrong page, that's why. I'll open it now, and then we'll get there. Trust me, there we go. Okay, tough month, I know. Do we think that that's the correction over in stock indexes this week? I don't know. You know, it's option expiration, and sort of 8 weeks out of 10 weeks, the option expiration week will be really bullish for stocks. But burned in my memory are a few really nasty months when they weren't bullish, and when they're not bullish on option expiration, it's really ugly. I think though probably we're going to see a bit of a bounce before we go down again more, but yeah, let's see. Okay, here's our ZEC. We're going to start with the weekly chart at this one. So, first off, the answer to the question is, why is it down here? I don't know. But in terms of trend and everything else, this chart is kind of running out of support. There is a theory in markets that spike lows very often get retested, rounded retests or whatever, and so we're kind of running out of meaningful fibs for ZEC. We've lost this 886 fib level. We paused here for 1 week, and then we've carried on lower. The next fib I have, which hardly anybody uses, so it may not get respected, is here at 36.50. But yeah, I just don't see any hope at the moment. If we were to rally from here, what would change this from downtrend to uptrend? You would have to get and hold above that fib level, because they're like staircase throughs, you know, as support and resistance, you know, support becomes resistance and vice versa. So this is the low, now this is the high, and that's, you know, you get underneath it and down you go. So we would have to get above this for a short term trend reversal. But in terms of weekly trend reversal, you know, we've got too much to do. This one, yeah, this little bounce here, I just don't see it turning into anything. I think that we continue lower, and the next hope of a maybe support is 36.50. In terms of the fork of ZEC, YEC, that one's a lot more stable and so I just don't see any reason technically to buy these yet. I don't see any, markets have three directions, okay? They have up, down, and sideways. So we go up, and we go down, and then when you go sideways, it's distribution or accumulation. And you look, when you're going sideways, that's when you make those patterns that all the chart analysts look at. So here we made, here we had been going down, 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 and we made this chart pattern, head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders pattern. Unfortunately, we never broke the neckline. So what we need to do, first of all, before we can do anything in ZEC, is we need to stop going down. And then we're going to, make a bit, it's really unusual to see lows like this back where you have a spike that just turns and goes all the way up again. When you're in a long grinding downtrend like this, what you'll tend to do is stop and then make a base. So we're going to get plenty of warning before it's time to buy ZEC for it to go up again, and it's not yet, unfortunately. Now, if I was looking for somewhere to unload some and I didn't want to stay in and I tried to buy a dip and it didn't work, I would say watch what happens when it comes back to the 20 moving average. If we get a rally, and I would sell against that. That's how it tends to work. But for now, I just leave that one alone. So the next one we're going to look at is Link, which has been quite promising, but now we're on the right page for Link. What we're seeing here is a bit of exactly what we talked about. So we went all the way up, we went all the way down, and really, since the middle of July, we've been going sideways, haven't we? So I'll put that back in a minute, but this is us going sideways. So we're quite bearish because we're underneath our daily moving averages, and we've made a bearish cross of these daily moving averages. That's the bad news. The good news is that they're flat, and when your moving averages are flat, it's not really a trend, it's sideways consolidation. So you buy the bottom, you sell the top, and you wait for a breakout and you look at what pattern forms. Okay, so we'll put some of those chart stuff back on. So here, from this high, we'll go from this high to this low and say, okay, if we get above the 236 fib, which I've marked in red, then we're going up again. That's good news. So that's where our thing is. And this is where right now our neckline is. I'm going to extend it. We've got a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here. It's a little bit high. I'm going to tighten them up a bit. So this is our 236 fib, and here's our neckline of, I think, an inverted head and shoulders pattern. It's not very clear on the daily. It's a lot more clear, I think, on the 4 hour. So not bullish until we get above 2.586 link tether, and then these highs, which would be a magnificent bullish reversal pattern and would send us twice this distance. So it's worth waiting for. You measure from the head to the neckline, and you project that from the neckline, and that's your target, your first target. So potentially we could rally from here, and that's what we'd be looking for. First sign would be above this 4 hour 200 moving average, or this little high here. That would be a good sign, because at the moment we're just consolidating, breaking up. So if you wanted to put your toe in the water with a little, and this turn, and you see this turn up here, then that would be your first little 2.5, and you could see if we get above this 236 fib, maybe add some, and then wait and see if we can break out. First time at this neckline, we'll probably bounce off it before we break out, even if we're going to break it. So that's what I'd be looking for. So that's Link Tether, Link Bitcoin. Ta-da. Okay. you know, 61.8 fib levels are really messy. You can go beyond them and then the market will come back and say, oh yeah, I was just kidding. I'm going to turn around here after all, don't worry, you know. And that's what we've seen a bit of here. I'm just trying to get rid of these lines. Okay, so we've taken this last big swing higher in link. We're trying to bounce from this 61.8. Initially, it didn't look like we would, but we've gotten above it and it looks like we're holding it as support. If we really are going to hold it as support, then this is where we need to turn, and it's pretty soon in link Bitcoin. And if we don't, it was just a bounce retest, and we're going to keep going lower to this 786 at 15,033, 15,033. Seen link was going to dump on the market news this morning. Did anybody see that? No, I did not. It has kind of stopped. It has turned a little bit since this morning, though, hasn't it? You know, like we double topped and we've pulled back. But at the moment, we look like we could very easily continue higher. We could very easily find some support from these moving averages in this level, which is pretty clear support and resistance. If we look, support, support here, resistance here, very no, your wife left you. Yeah, I will look at Matic at the end, don't worry. So this is the level. If we're going to find some support, this will be. So I'd be watching this quite closely here on a 15-minute. And you can see quite clearly, can't you, when now we're down here, that this is a pretty good support level. So if we lose it, I would say probably wait and see. Now, if you reverse at a 618, so if we bounce from the 618, then the first place you go to is the 50% in the middle. So that would be for us, that would be here, where the 200-day is at 24,255. Then your first target is the 38.2. Okay, that's what the fibs say. And, you know, this is what the price action says a bit. But I have to say these moving averages say to me that link's probably going to go lower. Bearish cross of these daily moving averages against link Bitcoin as well. And the 200-day sitting down here at, again, really good support and resistance at this level makes me think, you know, if we lose it, don't hang on. I think that we come down one more leg lower, and 15,500 is more likely, 15,500 or 15,000, and test this 200-day. So we know what to watch for now. No one's linking for you. That's going to be the sign that you're going lower. Another quick way for me, let's look at the confirmation level. So here's a double top. Isn't it like this? If you break the confirmation level in the middle, that's it, you're going down. So that's our double top confirmation level. It's not a very good double top. Another way to do it would be 236 fib. We're already underneath it. I think we're headed lower, I'm afraid. But that will confirm it. Below 20,450 against Bitcoin. Okay, that's link theta. Okay, I'm going to confess nobody asked the theta, so I put it in because I like the chart. Okay, here's a daily chart of theta. Now, theta's got a lot of resistance right here where we are, where we've stopped today. But resistance is not any resistance until you break it. And if you get above it, then you've got a really nice support. You know, resistance becomes support. So here is theta at above the daily 50 moving average and just right here at this 20 moving average. and trying to make a higher low. I think it's got a really good look. And if we can push a little higher, so it's above 1120, that's our breakout. So here you can see how on the hourly, how we are just underneath, holding at these daily moving averages. So a little bit higher, break higher from this consolidation in theta. And now that I'm looking at it, it'll probably be a false one to shake everybody out and then before a real one. But it's a really nice long on the daily and on the hourly and on every other time frame. So theta Bitcoin, if we get above these highs today, then where are we going to go? Well, I'm going to say I'm looking for 1507, if not higher. Let's put it on that one. No. Okay, 1507 would be the bearish target, because that would be where we have just an ABC correction of these lows. So 1500 would be first target. Second target is 1923. That is the big, zoom all the way out, 236 retrace level. And that's where the 200 moving average is, and that's where the previous swing high. So 15,000, and then 1923, if we can get above today's highs, the hourly high. I really kind of like the setup in theta. So good luck with that one. Somebody asked for VRA. This is on VRA Bitcoin. I find it really hard to see any trend in this chart. You know, everything's just flat and sideways. So what we have had is a double top. So, and this double top means that if we break these lows, which we retested yesterday, we would be going twice this distance lower. So, you know, rules for a double top are the same. If you break the confirmation level, you go twice the distance down here. We found support, so we know where we're wrong and we know where we're going to go lower from, and we look like we're bouncing. So if we bounce, we're obviously going to look for the top of the range. And how are we going to know if we're going to get there? Well, let's do it this way. Here's us bouncing off the top of the range. If you're going to go there, you need to break above that 236 fib. We've had a bit of a fight here today and haven't managed to do it. So I'm going to say at the moment, not quite enough evidence. What would look good here? A really nice double bottom to say, yeah, I'm absolutely sure I want to bounce here. Something like this, that would be a really good good look. And you can see also how there's pretty good support and resistance level here. So if you wanted to ignore this chart and veracity until it said it was going up, put an alarm there at 650. If you ask for this coin because you're long, don't let this low break. Don't let it close below 586. Get out if it does that. Because it will come all the way back and retest these lows down here at around 461. So, okay. So that's VRA, and then Atom. Okay. I really like this little quant one too, but we'll look at Atom. Okay. Cosmos. Okay, so Cosmos. Doesn't look like I had a very good day today, and I was looking for a little shallow pullback in this one to carry on higher. But good news is fibs or levels are like a staircase. They can be support and resistance. So here is our support and we're right pulled back to it. So potentially we could still hold the lows here. This is a pullback and carry on. However, this is a very bearish candle, and so if we don't hold these lows and we continue lower, my bullish idea is wrong. We failed at this 38.2 fib, and I was looking for us to go higher, and actually I was looking for 3379. So is this just a pullback to lower time frame moving averages, and are we going to tie and higher from here? to be honest, this is the level. If we're going to, this is what we need to see. We've done a little bit of an ABC correction here in Cosmos. So I'm really just sitting here watching for this to go green or not. And if it doesn't, and it carries on lower, no trade. But if it turns higher from here, then yes, I really do like Cosmos. I think we'll see at least another leg higher to 33.61, and if not 3,500. So looking like a good trend reversal for me in this one, if we hold support here tonight. If we don't, it was a good idea that didn't work. Okay. Okay, so somebody asked for a stock, a cannabis stock, Aurora Cannabis. This is a lovely example of a chart that's tightening up, when you call tightening up, like. So we had this beautiful rally, and since then we've had this really choppy sideways consolidation in a massive range, If we try to make sense of it with moving averages, we can't, because we're just tightening up. But if we make sense of it and we look at it with fib levels, we can see from the all-time lows down here to the high here that this 61.8 level twice, in fact, if we take it from here, the 6 has held, and this 236 fib was resistance here. So we seem to be, you always look at the other levels and say, are we respecting them? Well, if we draw this 38.2 through the middle here, you can see that we really were actually, and we are kind of respecting it. And then if we move it down and say, are we respecting this 50% level? Yeah, we have actually quite a lot. Although it doesn't look, it's spiky because it's crypto. And so potentially we could rally from this fib level. We may not go, if we don't, we're going to go all the way down to this next one, obviously, and say high to the 200-day, but potentially we could turn higher from here. What would tell me that we are? I'm going to go to the daily. Okay, so we'll hide this for now, and we'll put our fibs on this way. And we'll say, first off, we need to see a close above the 236 fib. And we didn't manage it so far, although we had a look, and that's at 6.9. I like how we've pulled back and filled the gap. I like how we've looked like we've pulled back 50%. And these two candles, yesterday and today, they're pretty bullish. We could very easily turn higher from here and have another go at that 236 fib level. And if we can overcome it this time, then that would be bullish. So if I put my Heikin-Ashi on, you can see it looks like we had a good effort, and now we're going to turn up and have another go. So that's what I'd be looking for. If we go green here, I'd be a buyer, and if we fail here at this level again, I would get out. It's not happening. So if you're looking for it, that would be it. If you're more of a swing investor, you don't want to take a tentative one, I would wait until we get above 6.9. Above 6.49 for sure, we're trending higher. If we fell at 6.9 and you've already bought some, that's where you get out. If we take one more swing lower, then we go down to that 618 fib again and the 200-day. Okay? So THETA, I really do like THETA. I think it looks good. So we've done those, we've done the stock. So now we're going to look at MATIC and then WIN US dollar. So we've done ADA, MATIC. I looked at MATIC this morning because I thought MATIC was all set to go. Let's look at this daily chart. In terms of where we are on our daily chart, holding above this 50 moving average, which we are, should be quite bullish, but there's all these spikes here, say sellers. Every time we get up here, somebody's taking profit, which is a little bit annoying, to say the least, when we want to get going in MATIC. So what have we got to do? It just looks like a chop fast, doesn't it? So you want to make sure this wasn't an ABC. And at the moment, it looks like it could have been. Okay, that's where this is the first leg of a correction, and the second leg of correction higher is 61.8 of the first one. So potentially this is a bearish and our rally is completely over. How would we know? Again, I'm going to go from this low. This time I'm going to go to this lower low. Yeah, back underneath these moving averages, that would seal it for me. So if I was already long Matic, I would have a tight stop here, 50%. It shouldn't come back more than 50% of this swing. Okay. God, all I'm going to do is say the 200 moving average. It's so tricky, isn't it? Because you don't want to give a load back when it's not going up, but it could just be fooling us, just profit taking here. Okay. Yeah, if this first red low goes, I would give up and wait for the bigger correction to be over, because it might just leave it. So yeah, below, I really like this morning. I thought we could continue at least up to here, but 138, below 138, I would bail on Matic Bitcoin and wait and see. It's not the bullish continuation that we were looking for, and this 61.8 seals it, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Okay, Ripple and then win. Okay, now Ripple has lately keeps looking like a really good setup, and you go, oh look, Ripple's about to go, and then it just dies. It's been very frustrating. So we'll start with Ripple dollar first, and then we'll look at Ripple and we'll look at Ripple Bitcoin afterwards. So first off, we're in our sideways range still, aren't we? In Ripple Bitcoin, this is a daily chart. Here's our sideways range. We've got four touches off the bottom. We bounced off the bottom. We didn't get very far. This is the biggest problem. Again, if I go from high to low, you always got to get past that 236 fib to be going higher, and that's where we failed on that first leg. And again, we did that ABC thing. So now we're going to come back to retest the lows and see if they hold this time. No guarantee they will either. Obviously, if they don't, then we'd be looking back down to 0.2465. But if we turn green and the buyers are here again, fifth time, that would be great. So let's see. Double bottoms are very good signs of support. We might have to wait for one in this one. If you wanted to wait and just set an alarm and wait until you knew for sure it was going up above 0.33619. But until then, and don't be disheartened. Look how many times, the first time we've been off these lows, how we've struggled before we've carried on higher. Look, we bounced off here, struggled, and then finally we got going. So, in Ripple dollar, it really doesn't mean anything. It's at sideways, not going up yet. And then in Ripple Bitcoin, and Ripple is going sideways like no other coin, like it's a horror show. Now, I'm going to go to the weekly in this one, because for me, this is a really good fib level if we can hold it. We didn't quite tag it last time we came down here, and we waited for it for ages. So here we are at it. It's at 26.20 Ripple Bitcoin. And so far, okay reaction. Just okay. We looked underneath it. Now we're back above it. It was a bit bullish. It's all a little bit, whoa, what are we going to do? I don't know. To be honest, after this amount of time to get here, it's going to take a while to get it going. But we need to see, first off, that we flip these hourly moving averages. And we have so far, but it'd be much better above this 200 hourly 200 moving average. The other way you define a trend, especially like here for an hourly, is higher lows, and in a downtrend we have lower highs and lower lows. So when you take out that last lower high, which is here, you've reversed that trend. So if we go above this one and hold above this level, which we haven't managed to do, well, not the whole bit anyway, that would reverse the hourly trend as well, wouldn't it? So by that, the look would be this, you know, and then its support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. So signs of maybe making a base here in Ripple above and holding above in Ripple Bitcoin, holding above 2650 would be more positive. Let's see. Okay, and win US dollar. Okay, win. Let me see, win. Win US dollar tether. Gosh, this one has so this is a nice new coin. Win US dollar tether at Binance. So since it's been listed on Binance, we'll put our fibs on. And but really, this is not. This is a really nice look. This one, doesn't it? Well, we've reversed the trend in terms of hourly moving averages, and everything else, and on our way back up again. What I like about this, you can take away the fibs in the US dollar, how support becomes resistance and levels are respected. So this big previous high is a big deal. And here you can see when you have new coins, you know, there's not much to go on. So if we have a setback here, I think we could quite easily come back towards this high and this low. That would be, I would be quite bearish if we went below that. I think more likely though, these highs here would keep us in a nicer uptrend. So this is trend support. You don't want to really come back into the next congestion. So 37.64 is it? Let's see. We'll put fibs on this way as well, because they could line up. Look, 37.64 is a 38.2 fib. Okay, and I really wouldn't want to see it. I really wouldn't want to see it below 3400. I would have a lot of concerns. Let me see where that is. Yeah. Okay, ideal support coming up if we're going to keep trending higher. If you were looking to buy it, this would be a good level to look at. Be aware, these moving averages are a little bit stretched out. This was quite a big run. So, and corrections are usually 3 waves. So wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this to allow those hourly moving averages to catch up. That would have a much better look. But yeah, let's see. Good luck and wink. Let me see how this looks. Let's look at some wink Bitcoin quickly before we go. Same thing, like that same horizontal level. It's got a bit of a... I hate these ones with chunky ticks. Look, 4. It's much easier to chart, you know, when they're much easier to chart US dollar when they are chunky ticks. Okay. And Bitcoin. Okay. We'll recap on some Bitcoin. Now, initially, I had thought that Bitcoin was in maybe a bit of a declining wedge like this. When I do my parallels from the lower ones, I thought, yeah, you know what, we could draw it like this, like this, because sometimes you can do that. Then it becomes a parallel channel. From the highs. And then I thought we can do this, and then another leg lower. I'm starting to think we've spent a little bit too long here. Unless we don't get moving lower pretty quickly, potentially we could just consolidate and then do another leg higher. And what would that mean for us? Well, Not much more, to be honest, because in Bitcoin, if we zoom out, the problem with Bitcoin is from the highs that we made back in December 2017 to the lows that we made in December 2018, we're stuck in between the 61.8, 38.2, which they call the golden ratio zone. It's really a zone where the bulls and the bears fight it out. And so the top of our range is going to be the 61.8, and the bottom is here, and this 50% in the middle acts as a pivot. And to be honest, we're right in the middle on the pivot. From here, we could just as easily go up and pull back, or we could head back down to the lows and up again. And I don't know, there's no trend. I would like to be bullish because we're riding above important daily moving averages. I would like to be bullish if we can hold this pivot in the middle, but the moving averages are flattening out and we're really in a sideways range, and my head is telling me just more consolidation to come. And so I think within this move that we're making, that we may have made a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, and therefore if this consolidation that we're in breaks to the upside, we'll see a wave 5. And that could extend all the way to the highs, or it could just go a shorter distance and end somewhere, I think, where if we measure from here, we could retest the highs at 12,300 or 3,000 and retest these highs. But at the moment, sideways consolidation, and we really just don't know which way we're going to break, to be honest. I will say, if we trade below 11,000, which is this high here, like a hourly close or a daily close below 11,000, then we are not going to get that another 5 waves higher. We won't see that another swing high. So this sideways consolidation that we're in, if we are looking for it to break higher from here, has very tight, we're very close to the lows. If we go back below this high at 11,000, we are more likely to see another swing lower and that third swing lower. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. Below 11,000, we're not looking for one more push higher anymore, and we're looking for a swing lower. Okay, that's everything. Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate you all very much. See you next week. Good luck.